I've hurt my neck. Not in a cool way either, not in a like, I was headbanging and I fucked up my neck. Yeah. But in a kind of, I'm really fucking old and I've hurt my neck. Anyway, it's a little bit of context or subtext to this review. Thanks again for tuning in. I very much appreciate that. And today it's time for a review of the 10th and shortest studio album by the band Soulfly. This is just the single again. This is the actual album. But that is not as interesting to look at as that. So, I had a decision to make. I fucking made it. So, Soulfly, of course, Max Cavalera's band. 10th album. It's pretty good going. To be able to carry on a band for that long of a career, especially now in 2015, it's quite a feat for any band, especially when you're someone like Max, who's been doing Killer Be Killed and Cavalera Conspiracy at the same time, amongst other things. And you say it's an achievement, actually. Max has kept Soulfly fresh and original in the same way that Trigger from Only Fools and Horses has kept his broom up to scratch, and that is by changing pretty much every single person in the band every year. Although this is the most solidified the Soulfly lineup has been for quite a while, though Tony Campos has recently jumped ship to join Fear Factory. He's going to regret that. But what's it like, the old Soulfly? Now, again, a little bit of backstory. Let's just get this out of the way because it's very awkward. I fucking love Max Cavalera. Fucking love Max Cavalera. I know he's starting to resemble like something that might be picked off the back of a horse's tail at the moment, but he's a fucking legend, and it's no kind of understatement to say that without the influence of Max Cavalera, I think metal would be in a very different place, and I think my record collection would be in a very different place. Did you still call it a record collection? I just did. But yeah, the music I listened to has been massively influenced by Max. Ratamahatta would be the first ever metal song that I ever bought, like proper metal song that I ever bought in my entire life. Seeing that on the chart show, for those of you outside of the UK or for those of you too young to know what the chart show used to be like, when the charts, the top 40 meant something, when the charts actually kind of were really important, like a real kind of indicator of you being a big band. Ratamahatta got into the top, I think it was at like number 28 or 29, don't quote me on that, but it got quite high, and that meant that it was number one in the rock chart that week. And this program, the chart show, used to just show videos of like different types of chart. So they'd be like the dance chart, and they'd run from 10 to 1 in the dance chart, and then they'd do the top 10 in the indie chart, and they'd do the top 10 in the rap chart, and they'd do the top 10 in the fucking, I don't know what other ones I could possibly have been. But anyway, in the rock chart one week, Ratamahatta was on one. They played the full video, and I remember going, that is some crazy shit. Like, sort of stop claymation, animation, fucking, and this Brazilian thrash metal band in the background. It was a mind-blowing experience for me. It was amazing. I bought Root. I love Root. It's one of my favourite, probably one of the top 10 albums ever made. I love it. I love all the Sepultura albums before that. The ones after Max left, not so much. That first Soulfly album is great. And the thing about Max is he is somebody who, if you look at Roots, kind of preempted the popularity of nu metal, carried that on even more with the first Soulfly album. They started off as kind of a very rudimentary Slayer-esque thrash band, didn't they, Sepultura, and then kind of morphed into a more of a death metal thing. We listened to Arise, Scott Burns producing Arise, who was, the producer du jour at that time. Then, of course, Ross Robinson doing Roots, the producer du jour of that time period as well. And Max has got a thing where he will go and flip between the things that are cool and kind of not so much jump on the bandwagon, but incorporate what is the most interesting and cutting edge thing into his music. Although to say that he's done that with the last few Soulfly albums would probably be slightly untrue, but this one, they're sounding genuinely much heavier and much more contemporary than they have for a very, very long time. I would say this owes a great debt to the album The Satanist by Behemoth. I know that might seem like a weird Soulfly and Behemoth as a pairing, but it has that same kind of anti-religious propaganda. I don't want to put the lyrical content within it. That kind of like the heavens are burning, you know, the world is crumbling, and you know, the Armageddon is setting in. There's that kind of lyrical content to it. It's very kind of old school, arcane. Like there's chants, like Gregorian chant on it, and at the same time, it's savagely white hot and brutal. At the same time, the first single, "We Sold Our Souls to Metal," you might have heard, is quite a typical thrash song. The song track 3, "Sodomites," features Todd Jones from Nails. So as you can imagine, that ain't ever going to be a ballad. Nails being one of the most brutal bands that have kind of come through from the underground of the last couple of years. Track 5, "Live Life Hard," is more kind of straight rock, agnostic front influenced punk song, and that features Matt. I've forgotten the guy's second name. Matt from Stray from the Path is the dude on the record as well. So they're still getting in these kind of cool, young, exciting talents to appear on the record. And the song like track 7 on here, "Bethlehem's Blood," which really sounds like he's trying to do that blackened death metal with this massive orchestration. There's lots of trumpets in it, but it kind of sits behind the riff, so it's not like ska punk crossed with death metal. I mean, can you imagine that? Awful. It's much more of a like kind of, it just sits and infests in the background. It's just like a kind of soundscape which adds a really cool juxtaposition to the kind of brutality that's going on, and just makes that guitar riff and those drums and Max's voice sound more brutal, and they sound more kind of frightening and more threatening, due to these kind of like this kind of trumpet going on in the background, this kind of brass section that happens in the background, and it has, you know, that I think owes a conduct themselves. I mean, everything on here is good. I would say it's not. It's going to be tough for Soulfly ever to be a cutting edge metal band ever again, but it's good that Max is willing to carry on trying to incorporate a lot of different things. He did it the same. I mean, you know, who knows who wrote what in Killer Be Killed. But that album was really good, and I think having seen Cavalera Conspiracy live at Download last month, and they were really bad, and I thought he's losing the plot a little bit. And then a week later I was at Hellfest, and he was incredible. So I think at the moment, what you get with Max Cavalera, he's inconsistent. You don't really know which Max Cavalera is going to turn up. The Max Cavalera that turned up on Archangel, I think, is Max working to maybe not the best of his abilities, but pretty damn high up. I'd say half of this record is really good. There's a few fillers on there. Titans, Ishtar Rising, which is again kind of a not so good attempt to do the blackened death metal sort of thing. And you know, like there are times where they just sound like Soulfly, whatever that means to you, because they kind of do it all really. So it's patchy, but there are bits in it that are surprising, and it's actually really fucking heavy. A lot heavier than I've heard Max be for some time. And he's been making heavy records for a while, you know. I mean, the first 3 Soulfly albums were quite kind of just bouncy, new metal-y stuff. But ever since Cavalera Conspiracy's come along, he has been making quite brutal, quite aggressive, quite, you know, aggressive music. And did I just say aggressive twice? Probably time to put this video to bed, isn't it? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's Soulfly. It's never going to be, you know, the cutting edge, but he's done a damn good job, and he's taken influences from, I think, cool new places. So if you're a fan, I think you're going to enjoy this record. It's their 10th studio album. It's Soulfly. I'm going to give this record kind of a low 7, I would think. It's not going to be in my top 20 of the year, I don't think, but it's nice. And because I like Max, just a 7, just a straight 7. So, you know, as good as Refused. That's what I gave Refused. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, good. What do you think? You heard it? Anything else you want me to review? Let me know in the comment section below. And I'm going to go now because, well, I have every fuck I can do. That's my fucking right. I'll do that if I want. Fuck you.